Hey, what's up, guys? David Lee here. Texas Horns football. Big 12 play is finally here. So, first game of the Big 12 conference for Texas, 36-30 over the Pokies. Finally snap a 4-game losing streak to Oklahoma State, including 5 straight games in Austin. So, great time to open Big 12 play, I think, with a revenge win from a loss last year, and just kind of snapping that losing streak, especially for the seniors, which has got to be pretty cool. Texas has actually their first 2 Big 12 games against 2 teams that they lost to last year, Oklahoma State and West Virginia, so off to the right start so far. So overall thoughts on the game, definitely drop your comments below. Let me know your overall thoughts. Who were you impressed by? Who were you not impressed by? Did the game go like you thought it would? Don't forget to give the video a like, share it out, and also always subscribe so you don't miss any getting on here. I'll do my best to answer questions. We'll also do a video here pretty soon pulling out some subscriber questions and going over those too. So overall thoughts, I think, maybe a little too close for comfort, but I expected a close game. It just seemed that Texas kind of found ways to allow Oklahoma State to stay into the game. There early on, I thought Texas was just going to keep giving up huge chunks of yards to Oklahoma State's offense. And, sometimes they kind of did throughout the game. But, the Texas offense, I think, showed up pretty early and showed that they could run and pass on the Oklahoma State defense. So that was pretty comforting to see. I think for the most part, the defense was pretty frustrating. But now that I've thought about it for a couple of days, pretty impressed with the overall result of the game in terms of what the defense allowed. 2 of Oklahoma State's touchdowns came off of the muffed punts by Jake Smith and senior Brandon Jones, the true freshman and the senior captain. So the one that Jake muffed really put the defense in a bad spot, and that resulted in a touchdown. I think that's the one of Chuba Hubbard's touchdowns. And then the other one was later in the game that also resulted in a touchdown. So, overall, for a long time there, Oklahoma State had 1 touchdown. Texas allowed some drives, but they ended up being field goals because the defense just kind of stuffed them close to the red zone. One was really close. One was, I believe, on the 5-yard line. So overall, pretty impressed with the defensive line, especially in the run defense. And considering that Chuba Hubbard came into the game leading the nation in rushing yards, and I believe he was tied in rushing touchdowns, and then he came out of the game, he had over 100 yards, but it took him like 37 carries to get there. So he only averaged 3.3 yards per carry. So that's a huge win, I think, for the Texas defense. And then Tylan Wallace, who came into the game leading the nation receiving yards, was held to 85 yards. And 85 yards for a player like him in an offense like that, I think, is pretty darn good. That's a win for the defense. There was a while there where I thought Tylan Wallace was going to get over 200 yards pretty easily. He's a great player. But, Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders, the quarterback, is a freshman quarterback. And passing-wise, I thought that, he had a couple of good moments, but for the most part, I think Texas defended that pass pretty well and obviously defended the run really well. Now, Spencer Sanders ran well on the Texas defense as they were focusing on pass coverage. But, for the most part, I think that's where he was most dangerous, Sanders, in running the ball. So overall, somewhat pretty impressed by the overall result of what the defense allowed, given the 2 premier players that came into that game in Hubbard and Wallace. And I think Spencer Sanders is going to be a good quarterback once he gets his accuracy down and once he learns to not try to, be a superstar on every single play. So overall, impressed there. I would say the player of the game on defense, Caden Stearns, had 10 tackles. You didn't really hear his name a lot, but I really think he did a great job defending, defending his spots on the field. He did get injured, and it was reported today that he's likely out for 4 weeks with a sprained knee. Josh Thompson is still going to be out. BJ Foster is still out for a couple weeks. So we've got a lot of injuries in the backfield. We did see some of the younger guys step up, though, with the defensive backs. Estel's a sophomore who redshirted last year. I believe he had a redshirt year. So he's either a redshirt freshman or a sophomore. He came up with an interception, which was awesome to see. And then we even saw Chris Adamara back there batting a ball down in the end zone that would have been a touchdown. So he showed up and played. He's part of that freshman class with the DBs. So it was cool to see those guys in. You just don't want to have to see Texas resort to going deeper and deeper into that defensive backfield using true freshmen. But bye week coming up, so a time to rest. On the offensive side of the ball, we were without Colin Johnson for the second week in a row, so he's still got a hamstring issue. Again, great time for a bye week for him to rest up and come back against West Virginia. So offensive side of the ball, most impressed with Keontay Ingram. I think that was probably his best game at Texas. He ran strong, hard with a burst. He didn't have a knee brace on. Don't know if you noticed that, but that was cool to see. He looked really healthy and strong. The offensive line was fantastic run blocking. If you're watching some of the replays of the game on Longhorn Network, or if you just watch some of the highlights through some of the Big 12 platforms, watch the offensive line run block. So many times on Ingram's bigger runs, the offensive line was pushing the Oklahoma State defensive line back a good 2, 3, sometimes 4 yards, at least on the side where Ingram was running. But that was really cool to see. They just overpowered those guys on the run block. So Ingram got a lot of help there, which is the way it's supposed to be. We saw less of Rashawn Johnson, but he still made an impact with a touchdown run and a 2-point conversion catch. Kind of a quick wide receiver screen when he was lined up out there wide. That was cool to see the coaches trust a true freshman converted quarterback who is now playing running back, line up in a receiver position to catch the ball for a 2-point conversion, which was a pretty important 2-point conversion at the time. So that was cool to see him contribute. Devin Duvernay, another nearly flawless game. This guy is playing as good of ball right now as a receiver that maybe we've ever seen at Texas. He has 0 drops. He is now leading the nation in receptions and scored another touchdown, scored an NFL touchdown by getting 2 feet, two toes inbounds. It was a great pass by Sam in the corner of the end zone, but Devin just looks fantastic right now. He's playing at an incredibly high level, and that's really cool to see. Sam, I think, completed 20 passes. Let me check the stats, have the stats pulled up here. Sam was 20 of 28 for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick. 12 of Sam's 20 completions were to Devin, which that was cool, to see. And it's almost like, can they stop him? Is a defense going to decide to shut down Devin in the slot one of these weeks? But we'll see. Brennan Eagles, long touchdown pass. I believe that was Sam's longest touchdown pass of his career, 73, 74 yards, something like that. Jake Smith with another touchdown. Cade Brewer with a touchdown. So cool to see multiple guys getting in there in the absence of Colin Johnson at receiver. So true freshman, tight end, Devin there. And what else? Malcolm Epps, I think, struggled in the deep ball. he's obviously filling in for Colin Johnson at one of those outside receiver spots, but which we've seen that, we saw that last week. So he's getting more looks from Sam, but Epps looks awkward to me when he's running deep routes, when he's going, for the deep pass. He came in as a tight end, and he's 6'6", he's a huge guy, but I don't know, maybe he is better served in short, yardage routes and just using, his size against defenders. But he just kind of looks awkward to me when he's going deep routes. But what else? Saw kind of a double flea flicker play there that around to Jake, and then back to Sam, and then hit Cade Brewer on that touchdown, which that was kind of cool to see. Oklahoma State went for a fake field goal that blew up in their face. Malcolm Roach got great push. I really think kind of all night he had a good game. Really liked what we saw from the defensive line. Probably their best game of the season so far, and that may be more so the type of offense that Oklahoma State runs, because Texas has been playing more, those Louisiana Tech and LSU, more of a quick passing team, and then you've got Rice, who pretty much just runs the ball. But overall, great win for Big 12 play. Came out of there with a lot of injuries. Not a super polished win whatsoever. Definitely some mistakes, especially on defense. That one pick that Sam threw, he tried to kind of stick it in there, and it was well defended, and it was one of those tipped passes that just went up in the air and was intercepted. So, but obviously it's cool to see Sam still play at a super high level, and I like the fact that we haven't seen him run a whole lot. He seems to be super comfortable back there, and when he does run, he is, using those moves to create just a couple more seconds, and he's not giving up on the play. So that's just a ton of maturity there that we see from him. He did obviously have that big run to put the game away on that third. I believe it was a 3rd and 9. Looked like he rolled out, and then I heard Tom Herman say that, hey, if the pass is wide open, take it. If not, run. And Sam ran all the way down to the 20 and pretty much put the game away. So that was cool to see. Bye week next week. Like I said, great time for a bye week. And then they leave out of Texas for the first time this season to go play in West Virginia. Not an easy place to play. Texas did beat them 2 years ago at West Virginia. Remember, that was the game where Will Grier broke his finger by trying to run it into the end zone, and then he got knocked out of the game. But Texas won that one. And then obviously last year, a super close loss, a real hard-fought, close loss. But anyway, like I said, guys, drop your comments below. Overall thoughts on the game. Did it go how you thought? How much confidence did it give you in this team going forward? Did it reduce some of your confidence? And who were your players of the game? I'd like to know that too. I would say on offense, mine, Keontay Ingram and Devin Duvernay, probably in a combo. And then on defense, I'd probably just go Caden Stearns because he led the team in tackles. And then Estill had the interception, and I think he had 7 or 8 tackles too. So it'd be tough to pick between those two games. But it's nice to see some of those younger defensive backs kind of stepping up and making really just kind of game-impacting, game-changing plays. So anyway, guys, check us out on Facebook, Texas Horns Football. Links in the description. We have almost at 54,000 Longhorns fans on that page. Posting a lot of good content and connecting with each other. So come chat with us on there as well. But appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Welcome.